all political power comes from the power of the Mog. That's what Mao Zedong said. And it really made me think about a few things about how we in society view attraction, and how we view looks maxing and all this different type of stuff. And I think the best figure that we can probably look at is Clavicular. I mean, if you think it, he's like this quintessential mogger. He's what like people aspire to be, but he himself is his own model. He's his own, like as Nietzsche says, Nietzsche spoke of this, Übermensch. He gives himself meaning through the Mog. And I think this is really interesting because how do you reconcile this as a socialist, right? Because when I was thinking about it, it was that inherently having this hierarchy on the PSL, right? Like let's say clav's like a Chad light or a Chad. Other people are going to be HTNs, MTNs, LTNs, sub 5, subhuman, right? And then we have new class systems like Foids, right? And hypergamy. So, like, if you really think about it, that class structure always exists. So the way that we reconcile with it as a socialist or as any other form of leftist, I feel like you actually have to embrace it a bit. And that's going to sound contradictory, but I'm going to give you like a really good reason why we should do it. Think about this. Thought experiment. Have you ever met a bad bitch who's anarcho-capitalist or libertarian? No, you haven't. You know why you haven't? Because they're inherently chuds. In order to even reach that point of ideology, you kind of have to be a chud. So, when you go to like my friend, he went to the Young Americans for Liberty Klan meetup or whatever it was, right? And I asked him, did you see any baddies there? He said no. Of course he didn't. It's like you have to be a chud to attend. However, there are always socialist baddies. Always. I've failure to see one who isn't at least a little bit bad. I think it's inherent because it's a difference between nihilism and essentialism. We socialists always strive to create a better society. That's why we believe in the stuff we do anyway. Oh, that's why we're revolutionary. That's why we, as Mao Zedong also said, all political power comes from the power of the vote. That's why we vote for the DSA, right? The reason that I think clavvicularism, as I'll call it, we have internalized clavvicularism. If you think about it, embracing looks-maxing ideology actually helps the proletariat in the long run because it helps us with the creation and establishment of vanguard parties. Think about this for a second, right? The halo effect. Whoever is more attractive is seen better in society. Again, that's a symptom of class, right? And something that we would want to eventually abolish. However, we can be revisionist. The main point is, if we have the halo effect used to the advantage of the vanguard parties, we will then be able to lead society better into socialism. I mean, imagine if everyone who is the leader of the vanguard party is a Chadlite or a true Atom. That genuinely helps our cause. What if everyone is a high-tier Becky, or a Stacy, or like even a true Eve? If we can have that type of, unity within our vanguard parties to have looks masters, people who just absolutely mog the hell out of the capitalist class, we're able to unite the proletariat. This helps us in the long run. This is the only symptom of class that comes in our favor. Because, at the end of the day, the laborer, all they have to sell is their labor, right? And themselves as a person to capital. We enhance ourselves. We are able to make a better human being through looks maxing. So we all have internalized clavism. I mean, I gave out my internalized clavism when I said there's no libertarian and cat bitches that are bad. Because there aren't. There really aren't. Like, genuinely, and I'm excluding white women, all right? I don't like going into the snow, you feel me? Like, I want, something, I want something darker, right? Chocolate or just nothing that has to do with that. So, at the end of the day, this comes to our benefit. So I think, as leftists, instead of abandoning or taking it aside as commodity fetishism, which sure it is, we should embrace it. Because if we're able to have moggers as the leaders of our vanguard parties, we're able to finally bring the proletariat together. This is why internalized clavism is actually the way to go, and I created a new ideology. I call it Marxist clavicular Maoism. I think it's essential because, we should also be able to lead, fourth world revolts and all that. Actually, any world. You know what? Fuck it. Marxist clavicularism, and then add anything you want at the end of it. Keep it in mind, though, because it will help us in the long run. Thank you, guys.